Everything builds upon that. So it's really, really important. So I'm going to talk to you today about how to narrow your target market so that you can increase leads and sales. And bonus here, work with clients that you love, right? That's what we all want to do, is work with people that we like working with. So just a little bit about SCORE. I am facilitating this for SCORE. Again, my name is Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here. SCORE, you're obviously on one of their workshops. SCORE has all kinds of other workshops to help you run your business, help you push through roadblocks. They have free one-on-one mentoring as well. So if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you need a mentor, reach out to SCORE. The people that they have mentoring are former high-level execs, from corporate, or former business owners. They're all very well versed and experienced, and they have a wealth of knowledge that they can impart and share with you. And then there's a bunch of free resources from SCORE as well. So I know at times being an entrepreneur can kind of feel like you're on an island by yourself. There are organizations like SCORE so that you don't have to feel that way. So don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. My goal today is to give you one or two things that you can take away and use to improve your business. Okay? Simple as that. If I can do that, the hour you spend with me here today will be well worth it. I always like to start workshops with the definition of marketing, just to make sure that we are on the same page. Okay? Marketing is getting someone who has a need or a problem you can solve to know, like, and trust you. Okay, it's that simple. The job of our marketing is to find those people that we want to work with, get them to know us, get them to like us and trust us, because when they get to that trust point, they will be much more inclined to take that next step to work with us. That's all marketing is. Now, Cliff Note version of me, you didn't come here to hear all about me, but I think some context as to who the heck I am and why I'm doing this is important. And then I'm going to jump right into this stuff. Okay, so I was born here, I grew up here. As a kid, I loved this, and this. All of this was during, when it was time to go to college, I wanted to do this. So I went here, but I couldn't stand being in this every single day. So I transferred here, majored in. After, I started a wholesale distribution company. I was a partner in this company. We sold this kind of stuff. Did that for over 10 years. We grew like this. It was all I could do to hold on until we did this. Along the way, checked an item off my bucket list. Shortly after that, we went here and checked another item off our bucket list. 2008, we moved here to start here we are a year later. Shortly after that, we had our first little girl. Another 18 months later, we had another little girl. Meanwhile, I was selling these for a living, which made me feel like this every single day. So I shifted gears, started a company offering two, so they can, and that's why I'm here, okay? So that is enough about me. Real quick, just want to check this. Yeah, yes, awesome. We got another East Bay person with me. So I grew up in Danville, which was it's a great place to grow up. But so anyways, marketing is all about the fundamentals. Okay, I love this quote from Michael Jordan. He said, "Get the fundamentals down, and the level of everything you do will rise." Okay, professionals make things look easy because they have the fundamentals in place. The fundamentals lay that foundation. So when I look at the marketing fundamentals, I call them the marketing strategy trilogy. One is your target market. It's the most important place to start, which is why it's so important that you're on here today. Two, you then have to have great engaging messaging that's clear to that target market, that attracts and engages them. And then you have to have a plan. What the heck am I going to do? Once I got my target market and my messaging, what am I going to do to market my business? You have to have a plan. Okay? So what are we going to talk about today? First, I'm going to talk about four things. I'm going to talk about what makes a great target market, defining your ideal clients, finding your ideal clients, and then the customer journey, what that is, why it's important. Okay, I'm going to share with you the tools, the steps, the frameworks that we use in our own business, and what we use to help our clients. Okay, so I'm just going to laying it all out here, and I'm not holding anything back. Okay, so, and by the way, as I go through this, at the end, don't worry, we're recording this. I've got my slide deck. I'll show you exactly how you can get all that stuff along with the tools. Okay, so don't be afraid if you miss something. You'll have everything you need. Okay, and at the end, there should be plenty of time for us to jump into some questions. So first off, what makes a great target market? To me, it's these four things. One, are there enough people who fit the criteria? Okay, so are there enough people in that target market that you're looking at to actually do business with? Okay, if there's not enough people, then you're never going to be able to do enough business. You're not going to be profitable, and it's just not going to work. Two, will my ideal clients really benefit from my product or service, right? Are they going to see the need for it? Okay, the easiest way, look, if you're getting into an established market, okay, I'm in marketing, okay, we're a dime a dozen, okay, they're everywhere. The need is there, okay, where it becomes a little bit more challenging to determine whether the need is there is if you are pioneering a new market. Okay, if you're pioneering a new market, you're going to need to do a little bit more research with your target market to confirm that the need's there and that they're really going to benefit from it. Okay, but if you're going into an existing, you're an attorney, you're a CPA, you're a marketer, you're a coach or a consultant. Okay, we're not pioneering new markets, so the need is there. Okay, but three, can they afford my products and services? You can have the greatest product or service in the world, but if your target market can't afford it, well, then you're never going to do any business. Okay, that's a problem. And four, can I reach them with my message? How easily accessible is my target market and my ideal clients within that target market? If they are too difficult to reach, if you can't find them, then you're going to have a problem. Okay, really, really difficult. So I'll give you an example. When I first started Rialto marketing, we were focused on one product in one niche market. We were selling mobile applications to the K-12 education space when we initially started. Okay, so I was working with and reaching out to school principals. Okay, school principals, they're easy to reach. Okay, you know exactly where they are. Frankly, you can go to any school website and get the email address for the school principal. Their phone number's there. I mean, everything is there. Okay, so they're very easy to reach. If they were not easy to reach and very difficult to get in front of, then that probably would have been a much more difficult target market for me to attack. Okay, so ask yourself these four questions. If you can answer those positively, then I think you're onto something, and you're starting from a firm base of, hey, this initial target market is going to be a good place for me to start. Once I know that I've got it, that I've honed in on a good target market, then I need to define my ideal clients within that target market. Okay, this image, everyone is not your customer. Most of us, when we initially get into business, we're like, okay, who are my best clients? Well, if you're breathing and you have money and you're willing to pay me, great, you're a good client. And after we work with clients like that, we quickly understand that not everybody that can pay us and is interested in working with us is going to be a good client. Okay, so we really need to hone in on, within that target market, who are those 1 to 3 ideal client types that we really want to attract. Okay, because for example, I mean, a lot of times people say, well, we work with small business owners. It's far too broad, because not every small business owner is going to be a great fit for your business. So as an example, okay, we've got a marketing company. We tend to work with service-based businesses. Our ideal clients are coaches and consultants, professional service providers, and home service businesses, so contractors. Within those ideal client types, not every one of those is going to be a good client type for us. So for example, if they're happy with where their business is at and they don't want to grow, they have no interest in marketing, well, they're not going to be a good fit, right? I mean, it seems like I'm oversimplifying that, but that's a really important key. If they're not open to it, they're never going to be a good client. So everybody in the target market that you look at is not going to be a good client for you. You need to hone in on those 1 to 3 ideal client types. So first off, why should we define those ideal client types? One, it helps you direct your sales and marketing to the right people. So going back to my example, working with small business owners, but I'm really honing in on those coaches and consultants. Now it becomes much easier for me to identify, hey, I'm not trying to attract every small business owner. I need to reach coaches and consultants. Much more targeted. So you're taking, rather than a shotgun approach, you're taking it's a rifle. You're a sniper, right? You know exactly where you're going and you're really honed in on that. It becomes easier to create messaging that attracts and engages those people because you've honed in, your messaging can be that much more specific to those ideal client types that you're trying to attract. Really, really important. Because you can create messaging that is much more engaging, clearer, and attracts those people, your business naturally becomes more profitable and you get more referrals. Because the types of clients that you're trying to attract, and you'll see here in a minute, are those clients that you do great work for, that are profitable. And when you do that, they're going to be happy because you're doing great work for them. You naturally get more referrals from that. And you can make better business decisions because now you have a guidepost that you can measure those decisions against. If you're thinking about offering a new product or service, well, you can come back to your ideal clients and go, hey, are 1 to 3 ideal client types going to find this service valuable? If they're not, then why are we even thinking about doing this, right? So as you make business decisions, you can put those against your ideal clients to say, hey, are they going to find value in this? Is this going to be helpful for them? If the answer is yes, then you're probably onto something. If it's no, probably shouldn't even be worrying about it. Okay? Now, a common misconception that comes up all the time when you talk about really honing in and focusing on those 1 to 3 ideal client types that you want to attract, it always comes up. Well, if I go too narrow, if I niche down, I'm going to lose business. And you know what ends up happening? The exact opposite ends up happening. There's a couple of reasons why. Keep this in mind. One, I'm not saying you're only going to do business with those 1 to 3 ideal client types. All I'm saying is you're going to direct your marketing and focus your marketing efforts on those 1 to 3 ideal client types. That's it. Doesn't mean that you're not going to do business with other people. You can choose to do business with those people. Hey, we focus on those service-based businesses. Have I worked with e-commerce companies? Yes, I have. But I've made the choice to do that based on their needs and knowing that I can still help them. Okay? And you can do the exact same thing. All we're doing is just saying, hey, you need to focus your marketing efforts because if your marketing efforts are too broad, they're never going to be effective. Okay, so that's all we're saying here. A couple weeks ago, I read a quote from a really well-respected copywriter, and he said, when you go all out to repel your non-ideal customers, you find that the ideal ones stick around longer and like you more. Okay, he really hit the nail on the head. And this guy, by the way, was ruthless about cutting people off. When you opt into this guy's email list, the email follow-ups that you get, he's actually doing everything he can to get you to unsubscribe off his list because he wants to make sure that the people that subscribe and get his emails are going to be the right fit. Because he knows that just getting somebody on his email list is not helpful. He needs the right people on that list. So when you niche down, your messaging is going to be so much more relevant to those ideal client types. It is going to be much, much more effective. So if you've got this concern, throw it out the window, okay? Because it's just, I've never seen it happen. What are the 3 steps you need to take? Okay. I try to keep things as simple as possible. It is so easy to overcomplicate things these days. When we can boil things down in their simplest form, it becomes much easier to implement and execute. Okay, so what I'm going to go through are 3 steps you need to go through to identify your ideal clients. Okay, step 1 is brainstorming. Step 2 is doing the research, which is helping you confirm and validate what you've done in the research phase. And then you're going to create your ideal client profiles. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now when I talk about ideal client profiles, you may have heard people talk about customer avatars or buyer personas. They're all the same thing. Okay, all we're doing is putting down on paper the attributes of that ideal client type. Okay, so it helps us hone in and keep that top of mind. As I've touched on multiple times already, most businesses have 1 to 3 ideal client types. If you start to go more than that, your focus becomes wishy-washy and it gets diluted and it's not nearly as effective. And then on the bottom of the slide, I've just got kind of an example of, hey, when you niche down, right? My target market is real estate, but I'm working with real estate investors. And specifically, I'm trying to attract house flippers, right? Or buy and hold investors, whatever it may be. Okay, that just gives you another example of how you can niche down within a target market to find your ideal clients. So step 1, there's 2 parts to brainstorming. Okay, I like to call these the 3 power questions, and this is the easiest place to start when you have an existing business where you have current customers or past clients. Okay, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. 1, who do you enjoy working with? Okay, why? There's no point. Why do we start our business? I mean, running a business is hard enough, let alone having to work with people that you can't stand that are making your life more difficult. So first, identify those clients that you love working with. Okay. Then you're going to look at who are your most profitable clients within that group. We have to make money if we want to stay in business. So why not work with our more profitable clients? And then 3, who do you do your best work for? Who do you get great results for? Those are the people, the group of people that you can answer positively to all 3 of those questions. That's where you want to start to identify who your ideal clients are within that group. Because guess what? Everybody in that group you love working with, they're profitable, and you do great work for. Okay? That's why you want to start with that group of people. Once you have that group of people, then you can move on to part 2 of brainstorming. And you're going to look at, within that group, what are the demographics and the psychographics of the people within that group. Okay? So demographics, we're looking at numbers, and this depends on your business, whether you're doing business to consumer or business to business or both, but this could be age ranges. It could be, geographically, where do they live? Do they live in a certain, price range for how do they own? Do they rent? What kinds of companies do they work for? What's their title? All of those things are the demographics. We're getting into the numbers. The second part here is the psychographics. And the psychographics, in my opinion, are just as important, if not more important than the demographics. Because the psychographics is about how they're feeling. What are their thoughts as it relates to what you do? Why are they even looking at doing this and working with somebody like you? What are their goals, their dreams, their aspirations, their attitudes? All of those things can really help you hone in on where they're at and really help you create very strong messaging. Okay? Then in this third step, what you're looking at, again, you're just getting thoughts down on paper. These people, what are their common problems? What are their questions as it relates to what you do? What roadblocks do they have and what results are they looking for? Just get stuff down on paper here. That's all we're trying to do. So as an example, for my business, right? Our clients, what's the problem they have? There's a number of problems related to marketing, but a lot of them all come down to they don't have a marketing plan. They don't have a plan in place that they can start to use. What kind of questions do they have? Well, what's it going to be like to work with you? how specifically are you going to help me solve this problem that I have? Okay. Roadblocks. Well, I don't have enough time to do this, or I don't I don't understand marketing. I don't even know how I'm going to move forward with this. Results. What results are they looking for? They want to grow their business. They want to generate more leads, right? So these are all things that we want to get down on paper, because all of these things help us better understand our ideal clients. Once you do that, you've taken this group that you answered positively, those 3 questions. You've started to look at the demographics and the psychographics, and when you do that, inevitably what happens is 1 to 3 groups come from that first main group. Those 1 to 3 subgroups, those are your ideal clients. Okay? Those are your ideal clients. Now, once we have those honed in and identified, now we go on to step 2. And step 2 is research. And with research, we're confirming and validating what we've done in this first step. Did we get it right, or did we miss something? And if we miss something, then we can make the adjustments, dial it in, and then we're in good shape. So all the stuff on this page are ways that you can confirm and validate and do your research. The internet has made research very, very easy, okay? Or much easier, I should say. But the first thing I always recommend people do, interview your existing clients. It's the best place to start. Okay. And in the resources that I have for you, there's a customer insight survey. Just print that out and ask them the questions that are on that list. There's about 14, 15 questions. This is a 10, 15-minute conversation, and they're just giving you feedback. But so often, it is really difficult for us as business owners to really hone in and identify, what makes us different, the value that we provide, because we're in it. We can't see the forest through the trees. But when we talk to our customers, they can so clearly define that for us, and it's eye-opening. So even if you were to just do this and interview your existing clients, I guarantee you the information that you would get from it would be invaluable. Okay, so start there. But then let's say some people say, well, what if I'm just starting out? How do I do all this stuff in the beginning? Well, you can't ask yourself those 3 power questions, but you can do the rest of that brainstorming. Okay, so you can still look at demographics, look at psychographics, brainstorm those problems, questions, roadblocks, results, and then through research, confirm. Okay, there's online forums, tons of information there's online forums for all kinds of different niches. Okay, I'm sure there's one for whatever, underwater basket weaving or whatever it may be. Answer sites, places like Quora, Yahoo Answers. If you go onto Quora, you can type in a question. I guarantee you somebody has asked that same question or something similar, and you'll see all the responses to those questions. So there's tons of information you can get from that. People often say, well, hey, I'm not quite comfortable jumping on the phone, interviewing my existing clients. Can I do a survey? Yes, you can. Here's what I will tell you. If you do a survey, you need to really hone in on those top 3 questions that you want to ask. Okay. I can't remember how long ago this was. It was probably in the last 6 months. I got an email request to complete a survey from the accounting software that we use. It's like, okay, cool. I'll try and help. I jump on, I click it. It's a 20-minute survey. I'm like, who the heck is going to fill that out? Nobody is going to take that time. Or let me just put it this way. Very few people are going to take that time, okay? It also just shows a total lack of respect for your client's time. Keep it short, sweet. They can fill it out in less than 3 minutes. Done. Move on, okay? So if you do surveys, keep them simple. Social media. There's all kinds of social media groups out there. Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, where you can go, LinkedIn groups for that target market or Facebook groups for that target market. Join and jump in and just see what's happening. What are people talking about? Okay, you can get all kinds of information from there. Google searches. Okay, Not a difficult thing, right? Pop it into Google, see what comes up. There's tons of great information. Oftentimes, depending on the market, you may be able to do searches for like, surveys or reports or white papers on specific markets. And somebody's done a white paper, and there's all kinds of valuable information in there. Online reviews, awesome place to get information. If you've got online reviews, read them. If you don't, go to online reviews for your competitors and see what their customers are saying. What did they not like? What did they love about working with them? The problems that they solved, all of that stuff is in there. So you don't have to have your own online reviews. You can poach from your competitors and see what their clients are saying, because if they're competitors, well, they've probably got some crossover in their ideal client types as well. So tons of good information you can get from online reviews. And the last one here I would say is this is more of an advanced technique, but sometimes people do ask about it. With ads, with Google ads, with Facebook ads, if you're thinking about going into a target market, but you're not quite sure, you've done this research and you're still not sure that you're on the right track, ads can be a great way to test it. So for example, you could put together a Facebook ad and just test different ads to see whether you're getting responses on those ads. If you're getting responses, you're getting interest, well, then I think you may be onto something. But if you test ads and you're not getting any interest, then there may be a problem there somewhere. Okay, so ads can be a way for you to test target markets, can be a great way for you to test specific messaging as well to see what happens. Okay, but research, we don't have to overcomplicate this. You can do tons of research online. Okay, this is all there. Now that I've done my brainstorming, I've done my research and confirmed that, you know what, yes, my brainstorming, I was spot on, I did a good job there, or you know what, I was a little off in these areas, I made those tweaks, I've got this dialed in, I'm confident. Now I create my ideal client profiles. Okay, and if this is your ideal client, sorry. So how do I actually do this? Okay, if you go on to Google and do a search, ideal customer profile template or buyer persona template, tons of stuff will come up. What's the best one for you to use? The one that makes sense for you, that you will actually implement and use. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer here. All these, I've got a few slides here, and in the resources, I've got a couple other examples for you just to help give you some ideas. You can dig as deep into the demographics as you want. I think sometimes you can dig too deep, and when you get too many numbers, it can make it a little bit more complicated. But dig as deep or as little as you want. This one you can see they've got demographics, they have psychographics, and some of their behaviors. Here's one, single sheet, and they got what, 8 to 10 things on here. They've kept this really high level, but still there's enough information on here so that I know exactly who my clients are, who this ideal client is, and what the pain points are, right? How they make their decisions. And then here's another one. This one's quite a bit more detailed, right? But if this will be helpful for you and you love digging into that kind of stuff, cool. The best one is the one that makes sense to you, that you will actually use. Okay? So now that we've created these 1 to 3 ideal client types, we have that information, we know who we're trying to reach. That next step is, where the hell are these people? How do I find them? Okay, because once we can identify where they are, now our marketing becomes much easier, because now we know exactly where we need to be to put our message in front of the right people. Starting to make sense, right? And why this is so important. If you haven't done this groundwork and you're struggling, there's a high likelihood this is why. You haven't gone through these steps. So how in the world do I find out where my ideal clients are congregating? Where are they hanging out? Okay, I put a couple questions at the top of the slide. Where do my ideal clients hang out, and who already has a relationship with them? Those are two really powerful questions to start. And then the rest of the information on this slide is just ideas of what you need to do to brainstorm. When you're done with this process, and in this next slide, I'm going to show you an example of this. But what I would recommend you do is just ask yourself these questions, use this checklist as a way to start to create a list of all the places that your ideal clients may be. What websites do they go to get information that they like? Okay? What forums or message boards are they a part of? Do they follow specific influencers online? Do they follow Tony Robbins or Gary Vaynerchuk or whoever it may be within that target market? There are influencers in every target market, and there's a high likelihood that your ideal clients are following some of those people. What groups do they belong to on social media? What podcasts do they listen to? There's so many people. There's tons of great podcasts out there. And there's podcasts in every niche. Find the podcasts that are in your niche and start to look at those more popular ones. There's a very high likelihood that your ideal clients are listening to some of those podcasts. Email lists that they subscribe to, newsletters where they get information. Are there blogs that they follow and that they read? YouTube channels that they watch, okay? Associations or organizations they belong to. The example that I'm going to give you here in a minute is for chiropractors. What associations do chiropractors belong to? There's an association, again, for pretty much any vertical. Association can be a great place to get in front of those ideal clients. Are there other businesses that they work with already? This kind of goes back to who already has a relationship with them that maybe you want to know and start to strike up a relationship, because maybe there's ways that you guys can help work together and push each other forward. Are they buying products, and supplies from specific manufacturers, distributors, other suppliers? Okay. Magazines. What magazines do they read? I used to be in the consumer electronics industry. There was like 5, 6 different magazines specific to our industry. If I was targeting that industry, that'd be a great place to go. Do I want to advertise in those magazines? Do I want to try to write for those magazines? There's a number of different ways that you can use those. Trade shows. Now trade shows have changed a little bit with this whole pandemic, but there's still a lot of virtual stuff happening. And I'm starting to see people kind of announcing stuff towards the end of this year that, they're trying to go in person. We'll see if that happens. Who knows at this point, but there's still opportunities for, shows or events that are virtual. And at some point again here, will be in person. And then the last one on here is just Google searches. Again, there's so much information you can find by just typing in some keywords into Google and hitting search. See what comes up. But take the time to go through and create a list. Using this as a guidepost, you will come up with tons of places that you can potentially get in front of your ideal clients. So let's look at an example, okay? I put together an example of chiropractors. One of my mentors said that success starts with a list. No matter what it is, success starts with a list. So that's all we're doing in this step is creating a list. Now, I will tell you, these 10 things that I put on here, I created this list in less than 10 or 15 minutes from a Google search, okay? I'm not trying to attract chiropractors. So if I had spent an hour, 2 hours, I guarantee you this could have been 2-3 pages long. Okay, so this is not overly complicated. But so let's look at it. For chiropractors, there's the American Chiropractic Association. Okay, I found the International Chiropractors Association. So there's 2 associations that I found in less than 10 minutes. Okay, and as you're not a chiropractor, so you can't join most associations. You can't join as a chiropractic member, But a lot of associations have they may call it like a vendor membership or a partner membership where you can join that way, and they have specific benefits there that will allow you to get in front of those chiropractors that you're trying to attract. Manufacturers. I just typed in, chiropractic equipment, chiropractic tables. Well, I found Thule tables. I found Elite chiropractic tables. Awesome. Maybe there's salespeople that work there, or upper level execs that work there that I want to strike up a relationship. Maybe there's some ways that we can work together so that we can both get in front of these chiropractors that we're trying to work with. I found a forum, Chiro Web. Okay, can go into the forum and I can ask questions, I can interact. I can answer questions. Right? The more I interact and add value in these forums and these groups, the more people are going to start to see me and go, oh, who is this guy? Who is this person? Oh, man, they're putting out some good information. They're helping. Let me go check out their website, see what they're all about, right? Facebook group, Forward Thinking Chiropractic Alliance. I found 2 magazines, the American Chiropractic and Chiropractic Economics. I found a couple trade shows. I found a blog, Patient Media. I found 2 influencers. So Dr. Ed Osborne, Dr. Jeffrey Langmaid. Okay, and then I found a few podcasts as well. So again, this is what I came up with in 10 to 15 minutes. If you spend an hour or two for each ideal client type, you're going to come up with a great list. And now this list gives you're not necessarily going to target every one of these, but it gives you a list of places where you may want to test getting in front of and putting your message out there within those. Okay. So I hope this is starting to make sense. If it's not, you guys post questions in chat and I'll get to those at the end. So we're on the home stretch here. The customer journey. What the heck is the customer journey? The customer journey is the entire experience that a prospect and a customer has from the minute they start to think about working with a company like yours, all the way through buying, doing repeat and referral business. So I look at the customer journey as an hourglass. We've all seen an hourglass. The sand's at the top and it works its way down. There's 7 steps. There's know, like, trust, try, buy, repeat, and refer. Okay? So what are these phases? Right? In the know phase, right? People are becoming aware of us. In the like phase, we're getting more permission to continue this conversation that we're having. Okay? Trust is we're establishing that credibility and that authority with potential clients. Try is there a way I can try before I buy? Then there's I'm actually buying. Okay, and by the way, a lot of customer journey models stop right at buy. They look at this as a funnel. And I think that's a huge mistake, because on the other end of the hourglass is repeat and referral business, which is huge. So if you look at it as a funnel, you're missing the back half of that, which is a really, really important step. Because once they buy, we're looking at repeat. How can we encourage and entice customers to do more business with us or work with us again? And then how can we encourage referrals? That's the customer journey. So why do we even care about the customer journey? There's a number of reasons. First one, it allows us to optimize the experience customers have. When we understand what actions they're taking, what their needs are, what their questions are at each phase, we can then implement content, processes, procedures at each phase to help those prospects and those customers continue to work through the customer journey. Okay, we can address their needs more effectively. We can identify gaps in the process, right? So if we're struggling to get people to go from that trust phase to try, maybe there's something we're missing. And when we can identify what we're missing, we can plug that gap, and then all of a sudden people start to take that next step. That goes hand in hand with then optimizing lead conversion in your sales process, right? When you know exactly what their expectations are, what their needs are, you can help them work through that. And as you can help people work through faster, you're going to convert quicker, right? And you're going to have a much more effective sales process. Moving people through the journey more effectively. I've already touched on that. And you can make better business decisions. Again, when you can identify those gaps that you may have, you can start to plug them, and the whole process is going to be that much more effective. Okay. So what we do when we map the customer journey, there's 2 steps that we take. Okay. And I've got a sample here for you, so it should really help solidify this for you. But the first thing we want to do is outline the channels or the actions a potential client or customer is taking at each phase. And then in step 2, we're outlining the content and the tools, the programs that we need to implement as a business to touch them and engage them at that phase. Okay? So a lot of times people get stuck. This mind mapping the hourglass will give you a great tool to look at and go, okay, well, I'm at the no phase. What things might they be doing? Well, they might be getting referrals, or they're getting information from advertising, or they're finding people in search results. Okay? This sheet is just to help you get your juices going and get ideas in your head so that you can start to put things down on paper. Okay? And you'll have access to this as well. Once you start doing this, now you can use this template, right? On the left side, we have the different phases. Then you've got the customer actions or expectations. To the right of that is the content that we're going to use to engage and meet those needs. And by the way, when I say content, I'm using that very loosely. To me, content is anything that a customer or prospect is going to come in contact with. It could be a conversation. It could be, video, audio, email, social media post, anything. Okay? So in the content to engage and meet needs, we're just outlining what the heck are we going to do? Okay? And then on the far right, you'll see what department is typically handling this, right? Is it marketing? Is it sales? Is it customer service? And you'll see as you transition through the hourglass, the top of the hourglass is marketing, then it shifts to sales, and then at the bottom, you're going to customer service. Okay? And by the way, the last time that I did this, somebody asked me, they said, hey, does the bold information on this sheet mean anything? And the answer is no. In this example, it was just something to delineate whether the client was actually doing this stuff yet or not. Okay, because you're not going to be able to implement all this stuff at once. Okay, but it does get it down on paper. Remember, success starts with a list, and that's really what we're doing here is creating a list of all these things. And then we can start to identify what we need to do. Okay, you're starting to see how this can be helpful for your business. Okay, and then here's the bottom. I'm not going to go through all this because I do want to get your questions and make sure that you guys leave here without any lingering questions. But you'll see all this in the slide deck, and you can kind of read through this, and I think that'll really help solidify it for you so that you can translate this to your business. So that's it. I've covered this in 45 minutes, okay? So I want to ask you a question. I hope you found this helpful. I'm sure that you can use this to help improve your business. But if you don't take action, then none of this is going to work. So I want to take just the next several minutes, if it's okay with you, to give you a few tools that are going to help you implement. And then we'll use the rest for Q&A, and you guys can fire away these questions at me, and I'll answer them as best I possibly can. So the first thing that I've gotten here is just free stuff, right? I told you I'd give you my slide deck, the presentation recording, customer insights survey, the ideal client profile examples, that mind mapping, the marketing hourglass, and then the customer journey map template that I covered. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is, if you go to this link, I'll post this link in chat. Guys, if you put your name and email in here, you're going on our email list, okay? If you don't want to stay on it, just unsubscribe, okay? The first email you're going to get has a link to all the resources, okay? So if you don't want to stay on our email list, no problem. I'm not going to be offended. Just unsubscribe when it's done. But put your name, your email in here, get the resources. You're going to get the email. Okay? So I'm going to put that in chat so that you guys have it. And it's right there. So all you need to do is click on that and you can get all those resources for free and they'll help you work through it. Okay? Second thing I want to offer you, and there's no pressure from me if you guys are at the point where you're like, hey, I love this, but I still know that I'm going to need help. I can't work through this myself. Still got some roadblocks that I need to push through. We offer a free 15-minute consultation. I can help you work through that. Okay. If you want to take advantage of that, you can go to this page. Okay. And on this page, we're going to gather a little bit of information. It may take you about 10 minutes to go through it, but it's going to give us enough information to really be properly prepared so that we can give you as much good information as possible on that call. Okay. Once you fill this out, you'll have access to my calendar. You can schedule when it's convenient for you and away you go. Okay. So if you're at a point where you feel like that's going to be of importance to you and you'll get some value from it, then you can schedule a free consult with me. Again, no pressure from me on that, but if you want to take advantage of it, it's there. I posted it in chat. Other than that, my contact info is here. We've got about 12, 13 minutes. So I'm going to jump into chat and see if there's any other follow-up questions. If you do have a question and you haven't posted it in chat, pop it in there and we're going to jump in and get to it. So let me find, oops, I want to do that. Okay. Bear with me, guys. Okay, so, yeah, okay. Okay, so first question here is, how do I figure out what specifically it is about my client that makes me enjoy working with them? You know, here's the easiest threshold. When you get an email or a call from a client, how does it make you feel? If you see their name in your email inbox and you're like, oh God, not again. That's not a good sign, you know. But if you get a call and you're like, oh yeah, gosh, it's John, awesome, I can't wait, let me pick up the phone, right? That's, you know, if it's just painful to work with people, you know, the whole process becomes difficult. That's your sign, whether you're liking working with them or not. Okay, but usually the easiest thing is like, oh, I got an email from John. Oh, damn it. I don't want to deal with this. Okay, that's your sign that they're not good to work with.
That was that's a little bit different than what my question was. If I could,
okay.
So I know which clients I like working with.
Yeah.
I'm happy to get emails from them. But how do I figure out what his situation is that makes me enjoy working with him? Like, what is it about him? I mean, it's, you know.
Yeah,
it's facial hair. Like, what? How do I figure out which pieces of it that make it good to work with him? I mean, I figured out some of it, but how do I go through that process?
Yeah, so I think again, what I would recommend you do is just start brainstorming. Write these things down on paper, okay? Because you may not feel like you know, but there's got to be something about that client that you love working with. Okay, so for example, I love working with this client because they're a delegator. Okay, they're not up in my business saying, "Oh my gosh, what did you? Can you tell me why you posted that on social media the other day for me? What? How did you come up with this idea for this blog post?" No, they're a delegator. I like working with delegators. And by the way, this is just an example, but you know, I can do better work for somebody when they're not up in my business. They delegate that work because they trust me and they know that they can't do it themselves and they want to focus on something else that is a higher and better use of their time. Okay. There are attributes about those clients that help determine whether you like working with them or not. It could be how they handle themselves. What type of people are they? Are they nice? Are they respectful? Do they value what you do? You know, or are they the type of client that's constantly hammering you on your price and, oh, can you do better than this? No, those people don't value what you do, right? So it's things like that that I think help most of us enjoy working with those people. So what I would just think about is just start creating a list of all those things that happen with your interactions with those specific clients. And then I think you'll start to hone in on what it is about them that you like. Does that help? And then the other question here is interviewing my customers different from asking for, yes. So is interviewing my customers different from asking for testimonials and reviews? Yes, it is. Because with interviewing them, you'll see when you look at the customer insights survey, you're asking them questions. You're having a conversation with them. What problem did you have when you first started looking for companies like ours? Why did you choose us over our other competitors? What do you like most about working with us? How did you find us? It's those types of questions that are helping you dig a little bit deeper to better understand your clients, what they're doing, why they value working with you. Testimonials and reviews are more, hey, they've worked with you. Hey, can you do us a favor and leave us a review? It helps us and it helps potential clients have a better understanding. When you're trying to get testimonials and reviews, what I really like to focus on is, hey, what problem did we solve for you? What was it like to work with us, and what benefit have you seen? If you can hone in on those things in a testimonial, that can be really, really powerful, and it can still help you, right? Because remember, I talked about, testimonials and reviews in the research phase. That can still be helpful, but it's not going to be as in-depth as interviewing your existing clients. Yes. Can you share those example client profile? Yep. Worksheets. Yep. So you guys will have all those. The links are in there. Does anybody, those are the only questions that I've got in chat. Does anybody else have any other questions that I can help answer? And if you don't, that's okay. I'll let you, we'll be done early, and that's not a bad thing. The only other thing I'll wait while, just to make sure, we are doing, well, one, I'm doing these, sessions for SCORE each and every month. I also have an Ask Me Anything session with SCORE each and every month. So keep an eye out for that. Look at their calendar and see what's coming up. I believe the next one that I'm doing for them is focused on how to create a marketing plan. We use a simple 90-day marketing plan. So if that's something that may be of value for you, keep an eye on it, the SCORE calendar, and you can certainly sign up for that. But other than that, did you get some value from this? Was it helpful for you? Okay, cool. So if you want to take advantage of those resources, go to the link, put your name and email in there. You'll get access to those. And frankly, if you start jumping into those and you get stuck, you feel free to schedule a consult with me. I'll be happy to talk to you and help you push through those. So other than that, I don't see any other questions here. So I'm going to just end this now. We got 5 minutes to spare. Hope you got a ton of good information from it, and have a great rest of the week. And hopefully I'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Tim. I appreciate it. Very, very helpful. Thank
you.
you.
Awesome. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.